everybody, and welcome to another edition of Football Primetime. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm here, of course, with my co-host, AJ Dean.
What's
We're
up?
brought to you by Sam Wu, courtesy of Primetime Radio. Please, if you like the show, leave some comments, questions, concerns. Tell AJ how much he sucks at NFL predictions. Whatever you guys want to do. But we're here to enjoy and entertain. Sam Wu is behind the curtain. He's sticking this one out. He's got a long run of Devils borers that he's been taking a part of, so it's been taxing for him. But yeah, we are here for week 15. How this season cannot go. I feel like this has been the fastest season that I've ever encountered. And it's crazy because it's 18 weeks. It's not even like it's 17 weeks and 16 games. It's 18 weeks and 17 games, and it feels like it's gone by so quickly.
Yeah, first of all,
it also helps when your team sucks.
Well, yes. When have my predictions gotten wrong?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're very bad.
I think you're worse than me.
I'd have to have a stat guru. We'd have to probably have Tom from Hockey on Tap Stats kind of corral football as well, let us know exactly where we are in our predictions. We haven't done them in a little bit, but it's probably for the better.
Yes. To your point, it has been some of the this might be one of the fastest seasons we've had in a while. Luckily, up until this week, we haven't had any real hiccups with COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Obviously, we having a game on Tuesday. We'll see if anything happens where we'll have games on a Wednesday like last year. But it's been a quick season so far. I can't believe it's almost week 15. It's been some good football, some weird football this year for sure.
But so I feel like this might be the first time in a while where you look at the standings and there's no team you're like, that's a Super Bowl contender or that's a Super Bowl champion, right? Like last year, you would have said that about Kansas City. And the year before that, and I'm sure you can go back and forth and find, and I'm actually going to do this real fast, but last year, right, KC would have been my guy, my team.
Yeah.
2019, that was what Brady's last year, and I think they're 12-4. Baltimore was really good at 14-2. That's when Lamar won the MVP. KC was really good. And then you look at the NFC. You had New Orleans was awesome. Drew Brees. Green Bay was 13-3, and you felt like you did have legit contenders. I don't know that I feel that way this year. I feel like there's a lot of parity. I feel like there's New England 9-5, but they lose to a team in the Indianapolis Colts where their running game, 8-6. You have Tennessee at 9-5. You got the Bengals and Ravens at 8-6. The Bills have just taken a turn. You would have maybe thought them. KC is 10-4. They're the class of the AFC right now. And a couple weeks ago, I wouldn't have said that. They were terrible.
No. And even hi, now,
Abby. Now, first of all, she's loud, and second of all, now she's in the shot. We're literally we're ruining our podcast right here.
It's amateur hour in
it is
the Morristown Dean.
Wow.
So she's propping the cat up, taking a photo of him. Okay.
Jeez. Yeah. We're all about cats in these podcasts. If you didn't notice already.
We are all about cats. Yes.
But AFC. So you look at Chargers, right? 8-6. Then you go to the NFC. Dallas Cowboys 10-4. The rest of the division stinks. The North, Green Bay is 11-3. They're always pretty good. Tampa 10-4. New Orleans though beats them yesterday 9-0 game. And then Arizona Cardinals 10-4, and they lose to the Detroit Lions. So like not one team has really taken it and ran with it. Yeah, I'm getting distracted too, like the cat. But yeah, it's amazing that there's not a team that I can point to and be like, that's the number one seed.
No, I think the AFC I think is wide open for the taking. For that's gonna be a crapshoot. Come playoff season. The NFC, I think you have the clear cut favorite in the Green
Packers?
Bay Packers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've played the best football so far. Their first loss, obviously, coming at the beginning of the season,
Yeah.
blowout. And then you had the Vikings loss; they lose by a field goal, and the Chiefs
Yep.
loss, obviously, without Rodgers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think you have to say that they're the clear cut favorite right now. Then you have
So you would
probably
say
Tampa
right
Bay
now
right
that,
behind
that
them.
that if you were to predict, you think Green Bay is your Super Bowl contender. They're
Yeah,
making it to the Super Bowl. Most likely, they're going to win.
yeah.
Kind of thing. All right.
I
That's good.
mean, at the beginning of the season, I thought it was going to be the Rams, but they've had a lot of clunkers. I
Yeah,
would have
they have
said
had
I would say the Cardinals would be right up there with the Packers, but you just saw them lay
Bucks.
a dud against the Detroit Lions, who Detroit's been playing really well.
Yeah.
And they should have definitely more than 2 wins, but um, yeah, I mean, I think it has to be Green Bay in the NFC.
Yeah, so Bucks, right? The first win of the season, that 31-29 versus Dallas. Um, then they beat Atlanta. You expect that kind of game. They lose to the Rams, which that's when we thought at the beginning of the season, wow, the Rams are legit.
Yep.
They beat New England. That was with, a rookie quarterback, his fourth game, kind of tough. Also his New England return. So I can kind of see why, that 19-17 game, was a little perplexing, but and he gets the wins against Miami and Philly and Chicago, the teams you expect him to beat. But then his next two, well, not next two, sorry. He has the New Orleans loss, 36-27. That's without Jameis Winston. He had already been hurt by then. So I believe that game, if I remember rightly, was Trevor Siemian. And that's where Alvin Kamara had a great game, and their defense was
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. They pretty much Traquan Smith had a touchdown. I think even their fullback had one, and then their defense had I think a pick six in that game. PJ Williams, yeah, it was pick six. But that defense plays Tom Brady excellent, and they do the same thing this past week, a 9-0 game. You see
Yeah.
Tom Brady with the iPad, breaking it in while on the bench. Their other losses against Washington, which was a very good game for Washington. They played lights out defense. At quarterback, you had Heineke having a pretty good game. And then Terry McLaurin was really good with that one. But that defense hasn't been as good. They've let up 31
Mm-hmm.
points and 27 points, and kind of hasn't been what they expected to last year. I know it's been a bunch of injuries, but their wins have been against the teams they should beat, and then the losses again have been against teams where the defense plays lights out, and Tom Brady can't seem to get it going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know it's the same roster basically as last year, but and they're dealing with injuries obviously on the defensive side, but I don't think this Bucks team scares me as much as they did last year. Going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's been a weird kind of season where teams that you thought would dominate haven't dominated. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we have some teams obviously at 11-4, 10-5.
You got
But
three teams at
it's
10-4 in the NFC. Yeah.
sorry, 10-4. It's been a weird season though.
Yeah. So then just going on off some news, COVID's been a big issue. We've had 3 games postponed, including the one today. Then we're going to have 2 tomorrow. Earlier today, Browns, who were decimated by COVID, lost. They did lose, right? Did I?
Yep, they lost
I actually didn't
16-14.
miss the end of the game. 16-14 to the Raiders. Raiders were starting to lose some players as well. Then today, the night game is Vikings and Bears, which was the original Monday night game. And then tomorrow, for the schedule seekers, we got Seattle at LA. So I'm hoping those Rams get on track and get another win.
Yep.
I want Seattle keep losing. And then Washington at Philly. All 4 teams, basically Washington and Philly have been the big ones. They've been kind of decimated by COVID. I think Jalen Hurts is on track to actually start for Philly. Washington, I don't know who they have starting at quarterback, but Cleveland had Nick Mullins today because both Baker and
Yeah.
what's his name were called out for COVID protocols. So just tough thing for the NFL, and we were talking about it in hockey on tap that just you're going to see a lot of this stuff, especially as the Christmas season comes around and goes, as well as New Year's. People are going to be close to their families, and you can't do anything about it. I know the players want to have less, and basically they're doing it so that if you're asymptomatic, you're not going to get tested, whereas you're symptomatic, then you will. And I guess maybe that's the new way to go. I'm not really too sure if that's the smartest way to go, but that's the way players want to do it too. So
Yeah, I mean it's tough too because like obviously we all want to see the best teams out there.
yep,
It sucks not even having Case Keenum out there would have been better than having Nick Mullins.
yeah,
Um,
Keenan, yeah,
but I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, if you're the NFL, I don't know what much more you can do other than push games later. I know we discussed, I think it was last year. We haven't really talked about it this year, but maybe, I mean, maybe you kind of throw in a bye for a team, kind of thing,
yep,
where they can play, say next Thursday and stuff like that, and push maybe some of these other games out, with college season, just in bowl season itself right now. I think all high school teams too are kind of done, playing now. I know that's another big thing why they don't play on Fridays. But I
yep,
mean, you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have all these days that you could play a game. Why not just push them out a little bit later? Get the
yep,
best possible teams. Obviously we want these guys to be healthy, to be okay, health wise. But if you want to put the best product out there, put the games later.
yeah. Just for bowl season, because you'd kind of spoken about that. I mean, there's a bunch of lesser bowls, right? Coastal Carolina played, Northern Iowa, which is actually a pretty good game. But,
Mm-hmm.
Boca Raton Bowl, and you had the Cricket Celebration. Some of these names are awesome. Cricket Celebration Bowl, the PUBG Mobile New Mexico Bowl, Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, Lending Tree Bowl, Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. I mean, you have tons
That's a
of
good one.
just fantastic things, but the big games, right, aren't going to happen until, and let me get down to it.
It's New
I'm
Year's,
going.
New
Yeah,
Year's
New
Eve, right?
Year's is the first two, right, and then but I'm trying to find, even there's been some other ones, right, like oh man, this is great podcasting. I didn't look this up earlier. Oregon versus Oklahoma is going to happen. What is this? December 29th. The Pinstripe Bowl is Maryland and Virginia Tech. Duke Mayo Bowl is North Carolina, South Carolina. Tennessee versus Purdue, obviously for
Yeah.
you, is December 30th. The Peach Bowl is Michigan State versus Pittsburgh. Wisconsin plays Arizona State on the 30th as well. Then you go to the college football playoff semifinal, Goodyear Cotton Bowl, which is Cincy versus Bama. That is going to be on Friday, December 31st. Then the other semifinal, Georgia versus Michigan, which is the Orange Bowl, will be on the 31st as well. Then Outback Bowl, which is Penn State and Arkansas, is January 1. You got Notre Dame versus Oklahoma State, January 1 as well. That's a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State plays Utah, the Urban Meyer Bowl. And then LSU versus Kansas is Tuesday, January 4th. And then January 10th will be the championship between, the two big winners of the semifinals, but we'll get into that more as the playoffs, because I don't really care about the rest of this stuff. So,
Well, the other big news too is what Jackson State has done with
Jackson
recruiting.
State, yeah.
It's been
So how
for
many?
all you guys.
Yeah, say how many did they grab so far?
I know they've. I know obviously
The top corner.
they took the number, yeah, and the number one recruit in the nation. Looking it up right now, actually, but
yeah, Hunter.
I mean, and I didn't know, what you were telling me before about, Barstool, basically paying these guys to go there, which is, I mean,
I don't think that's true.
So
I think that was a
what was
joke that was bandied around.
okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that Barstool paid Jackson. Jackson State. The recruit. Why am I blanking on the kid's name? It's Hunter. Damn it.
Travis Hunter.
College. Travis Hunter, thank you. That they paid Hunter to go to Jackson State for Deion, who's a Barstool member. And I think I saw a bunch of the guys from Barstool, including Dave Portnoy and Big Cat. I think they were saying, if we were going to do that, why wouldn't Michigan and Wisconsin be better? Because we'd pay for recruits for those two, because those, that's their alma mater.
Yeah,
so I know a bunch
teams,
of people were up in arms about that, but I mean, just stupid. They're going to get NIL deals, and he's going to make a shit ton of money in Jackson State. And it's actually a really good thing, right? He's the first big time African American recruit to go to a historically black college, HBCU, college university, and hopefully this brings more more African American premier 5-star athletes to those colleges. It's a great school, Jackson State, and it deserves to have very good players and very good football system, and just in general, be the best you can be. And I think it's great for Jackson State. It's great for Deion. Obviously, he's going to teach him how to be a fantastic wide receiver cornerback. I mean, you're looking at the best cornerback of all time, so that's pretty good for him.
And I also think that I think that. Yeah. I mean, this kid's also gonna get so much exposure in general anyway. I mean, you see guys that are not at necessarily at Division I that are playing at that high level, but still get recruited, not recruited, but still get drafted high and stuff like that. Like look at some of these quarterbacks that we've had come out, that have played in Division II and stuff like that. I mean, you're still gonna get a whole bunch of exposure. It's great too that I know Deion has that little little show that he does too. But every exposure that the kid gets and the school gets is great. I think Deion's a great coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. So the only thing that, and this is where I see people coming out, is that Jackson football's schedule for the 2022 season isn't exactly world beaters, right? That you have, it's lesser competition. You're going to face lesser wide receivers as a cornerback. Maybe on offense he's going to look awesome, but is it smart for him to not go and play for Bama or play for LSU or play for Oklahoma or USC or even Florida State, which was what he was probably going to go to. Play for those teams and play against better competition, and so that you're ready for the pros. I think he's gonna learn so much. He's such a good recruit that we should see him in the first round in 3 years anyway. So, So bowl season, we'll get into that as we go. But just for NFL and what's going on, COVID kind of delaying, but you have Giants shutting down Daniel Jones for the year with his neck injury. Injuries. Chris Godwin out for the season with a torn ACL. Not really injury, but Antonio Brown, Arians basically saying that history's changed and we just have to see and kind of rely on what we've done in the past. And, a lot of people are asking does that mean he's going to bring him back because he won a championship? So we'll see what happens. Travis Kelce for COVID, he's now on the COVID list. And, they don't necessarily need him. Well, yeah, I mean, it is. Right, so schedule-wise, this coming week for Week 16, they have so they just played LA and they won, which is a big-time win. This week they play KC. Where am I losing it? They play at Pittsburgh at Kansas City, so it's going to be a good game. But do they necessarily need him? Probably not. I think they get the win.
Yeah.
But maybe it's good that he got it now and not earlier. What do you think?
No, I mean, the only thing you have to worry about is the close contact stuff, and who else could have, potentially been exposed. You worry that if, like all these teams, if one guy gets it, you got to worry about everybody else, potentially getting it. And, it's obviously, like you said before at the beginning, it's tough. It's the holiday season. You're expecting all these people to be around family, friends, doing everything they can for their communities. I know a lot of people do, community services and stuff like that. Holidays, so they're, so they're helping out a lot of people, and it's tough, because like I said, we want to see the best people out there, and
and we're going to be without some of those. Joey Bosa was already ruled out for the Chargers game Sunday because of COVID. We already have, Goff was put on the COVID list after the Lions win over the Cardinals. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is going to play for the Eagles against Washington football team, but he was on a list. It's definitely a tough thing to kind of navigate, and these guys are, they're going to be needed during playoff time. So, like you said, that's probably better now than later, but it's definitely something that you don't want to see, especially, like I said, in the Raiders Browns game. I mean, that's sad that so many players were out and so many starters. They're without 20 starters. That's tough.
Yeah,
and they still put up a fight versus the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, like so. At what point too is it where it's better just not even having the game? I mean, I know the NFL loses revenue, but you're telling me they can't push out the playoffs by 1 week or something like that and just have a like a makeup game? Like, is that really going to make a difference? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're talking about Super Bowl right matchups. If you had Patriots and Bucks, that's going to be a monster Super Bowl rating. Same thing if you have Aaron Rodgers' last game possibly ever for Green Bay versus Patrick Mahomes. Like, you're going to have some primo matchups with these teams. Man, she's just all over the place today, huh?
I know.
Just loud and cats and Jesus, man, you have some issues.
Everything.
By the way, don't look at the first 10 minutes of the Hockey Untapped podcast as Sarah was climbing up all over me. All right. First Pro Bowl, players were released for 2022 already. Jonathan Taylor, Tom Brady were a couple of the few. Also, you saw Travis Kelce, you saw Aaron Donald, you saw Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp is going to probably break receiver records. He's been fantastic. Also, it's going to be in Vegas, so 3 members of the Raiders are already kind of been named. Max Crosby, who's had a great year. Denzel Perriman, I think he was one of the leaders for tackles. And then A.J. Cole, their punter. Perriman, 85 solo tackles. It's first in the NFL. He's been fantastic for the Raiders. Max Crosby on the other side. And I just had this. Why can't I pull this up? Of course, I click on. I hate ESPN. It allows you to go on the page and then you start to click something and all of a sudden it puts in an ad right where you're about to click. Just absolutely great timing. So let's see here. Max Crosby's got 5. Actually, he's got 5 sacks. I thought he had a better year than this, but I don't know. I guess they figured that they wanted some Raider love, so they'll put him in here. Yeah. But yeah, Brady obviously very deserving. He's had a fantastic year, maybe even MVP. Jonathan Taylor's been awesome for the Indianapolis Colts. Donald's still the best player in defense, although I know that TJ Watt has had a fantastic year. He actually just broke the sacks record for Pittsburgh Steelers. 17. It beats Jerome Harrison. And Jerome Harrison actually had a Twitter, little call out, saying congrats and, basically telling him to go get the single season record that Strahan owns at 22 and a half. Yep.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that broken. I like TJ Watt. I like all the Watt brothers.
I do too. I guess more not controversial, but just more questionable. They had 5 Cleveland Browns being selected to the Pro Bowl. They had Myles Garrett, running back Nick Chubb, cornerback Denzel Ward, and then guards Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller. I mean, I know they've all had good seasons, but I just don't know why they would announce them right now. What's the point in naming the Browns?
I know Chubb last year had a great season. I mean, this year, he's 5th right now in rushing. I think there's some more guys right now more deserving of being, called out. I can see something with like Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett has had a decent season too. But he's right behind T.J. Watt with 15 sacks. So, the linemen, I'd have to look at those. How many sacks they've led up. Rushes, all that stuff. But it is interesting. Seeing Chubb's name there. When I think there's a couple other running backs at least that you could announce. Before him.
So I guess before the Bears-Vikings kicked off, they also named Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, safety Harrison Smith, and then also Chicago outside linebacker Robert Quinn and return specialist Jakeem Grant Sr. So Garrett has 15 sacks, which is second in the NFL. It's his third Pro Bowl. Chubb has his third Pro Bowl, and he's got 1,000 yards in the season, 8 total touchdowns, 7 rushing, 1 receiving. Perriman leads in tackles. Kupp is obviously first in every single receiving category, 1,400 yards, 113 receptions, 12 touchdowns. It's his first Pro Bowl selection. Donald, 8th straight Pro Bowl. He's got 10 sacks as an interior lineman, which is crazy. Kelsey, 1,000 yards. Brady, 15th Pro Bowl, which is tied with Tony Gonzalez and Peyton Manning, as well as Bruce Matthews and Merlin Olsen for most Pro Bowl selections. He leads the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. And then Jonathan Taylor, and I told you how good, he's been awesome this year, but leads the NFL in scrimmage yards, 1,800. He's going to most likely hit 2,000. Rushing yards, he has 1,500. He could hit 2,000 rushing yards as well.
Yeah.
Total touchdowns, 19, 17 rushing, which is, just a second NFL season. It's his first Pro Bowl selection, and he's the first Colts running back to be selected for a Pro Bowl since Joseph Addai in 2007. It's been that long.
He's been insanely good this year.
Awesome. Yes.
I mean, how do you?
Congrats to you.
It's crazy too, because yeah, but it's amazing too, because I think part of the question marks for him coming out of college was his longevity, and also just if he could stay healthy. The way that he was used at Wisconsin, he was their workhorse there too. For 3 years he was every down back, and you worry about if he could stay healthy. I know he's been banged up here and there in his first 2 seasons, but I mean, with numbers like that, I mean, you could afford him being banged up here and there, and
in 2020 he played 15 games. Yeah. 2020 played 15 games, and then this season he's played 14 games. He missed the 1 game. Did he miss a game? He might not have. Oh man, I just pressed against this stupid name and it did not work. Game log. Sorry. No, he's played in.
No,
he's played in every single game. Yeah, so he'll most likely hit the 17-game mark, unless maybe that last game, if they don't need him to play, give him some rest. But he's logged. Versus New England, he had 29 attempts. Versus Houston, he had 32. Versus Buffalo, he had 32. I mean, there's some big time, carry attempts. He has had some games where he's rushed only 10 times, but this was against Tennessee when Tennessee was doing well. He had 10 attempts for 64 yards, but they were down, before they actually had to give him the ball. But yeah, I mean, he's trucking everybody, so good for him.
While we're on the AFC South, can we also talk about some coaching news for a certain team in Florida?
I was going to get to that.
Finally out.
Yep, our boy Jared, very happy.
Amazing. Whoever didn't see that writing on the wall.
I mean, I really wanted to hope that he would last more than a year. It's bad. I mean, there's not many coaches that have not made it a whole season. And he did it to himself, and I'm pretty sure, I think he even said that in his press conference, or he said in a tweet or something. But he was bad, real bad.
He might have taken the biggest nosedive in head coaching I have ever seen in any sport. To have that opportunity. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a premier franchise or anything like that, but to have that opportunity, to have it's just amazing how bad that whole thing, this whole fiasco, this whole tenure has been with the Jaguars. It's been amazing, and there was an article that kind of go ahead.
Yeah, documented everything that he's been through, right? Between the whole girl thing and him kicking up his kicker and calling his team losers and getting a fight with a wide receiver. It's just from hiring a guy that was racist, and just everything. His entire stop there was bad from the
Yeah.
get-go, and it did
And
not
and
let up.
actually, and if I'm a college team and I need a head coach and I was
Oh,
interested in
they're going to
him,
hire him.
I don't know.
Absolutely. No,
I don't know.
absolutely. Because
You
and it's not great that I'm saying this, but he's a winner. And I know he had indiscretions this season with the team, but he knows how to turn around a program, and you're going to get recruits. Guys are going to come play for
see.
him because he's Urban Meyer.
I don't know. I think if you see what has happened and all the stuff that has come out, I mean, if I'm a school with everything that goes on nowadays with social media, with everything, obviously, he's
Yeah,
just somebody that I don't think you would want to touch. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. No, I mean I don't disagree, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Um, it still didn't help their offense. They only scored 16
no,
points, which is, I mean, it's a full touchdown more than what they've been averaging since the bye, but it was only one touchdown drive. I know he was there till Wednesday, so maybe they need a full week of him doing that. But Shad
mhm,
Khan fixed his mistake, and he needs to make sure that his next head coaching pick is not a dud. They have
no,
a lot of opportunity with Trevor Lawrence and with James Robinson, and they have a very good base to go from, and they really badly need to make sure that they get this right. Because if he doesn't,
yeah,
you've wasted maybe even a Hall of Famer, with what he could do. And the Jaguars probably locked up the number one pick again, which there's no quarterback, so
amazing.
I don't know that they're going to be able to trade him. Trade that spot out for a quarterback or for a team that's needing a quarterback. But I mean, they also could get Kevin Thibodeau and have him and Josh Allen bookends, which would be really nice. But
Yeah,
that's for another show. I just wanted to go over quickly before we head out. Schedule next week, we can kind of go through what's going on. But yeah, I mean, very interesting week. We're excited for playoffs starting soon. There's a lot of teams still in the race. They always have that stat rate, the race tracker out there, and
in the
I don't
hunt.
necessarily know. Yeah, in the hunt. You look at some of those teams, you're like, they're not in the hunt. They need everything to go right. Like
Well,
the Jets were just mathematically eliminated. Like, how's that possible?
yep, yeah, it's
Um,
amazing.
yeah. So, all right. So tomorrow, obviously, we still have the two games: Seattle, LA, Washington, Philly. I would still think that the Rams and like I said, Washington get those wins. For Week 16, I think it's a better slate than this week. Yeah, on Thursday night, San Fran at Tennessee. I like that game. San Fran's turning around and they're looking really good. Um,
Yeah, and I
they're
think
sneaky. You don't want
I
to play them.
say I think Tennessee's been regressing since they lost Derrick Henry.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Although I do think that they lead the league in terms of man, man games lost due to injury and COVID and stuff. And I do think that Vrabel's done a pretty good job with that team
yeah,
and how he's been able to just take players off the street and kind of bring them in.
I'd agree.
Cleveland at Green Bay. I think Green Bay, kind of starts to move away from the pack a little bit to grab that number one seed.
Hmm.
Indy at Arizona. I mean,
It's a good
if
game.
there's a
It's a really
team,
good game.
yeah, but if there's a team that really needs a win, it's Arizona. They've
Yep.
gone downhill very fast. Um, and Indy needs the win too to keep track of that wild card. Um, I'm
I th-
worried
I
if
th-
I'm Arizona.
yeah. I
I'm
mean, I
thinking
mean, I
that
guess
Indy.
I guess the only saving grace, if you look at it, is that like you hope you're playing your worst football, right now, and
Yeah,
that's it,
yeah.
and then the next
It's
2 weeks you
gonna
turn
turn
around,
around.
kind of thing.
But you
But
need
yeah,
that
if
win
I,
against Indy to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm leaning Indy though for this game.
Yeah, I like the Thursday Saturday games. I like them. I think they're going to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
Especially Cleveland gets healthy. Then Sunday, Detroit at Atlanta. That's a bad game.
clunker.
Yeah, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Cincinnati needs wins. Baltimore, coming off a loss as well. Will they get Lamar back over Huntley? That's going to be interesting. AFC matchup.
He's played well
Rams
though,
at
Huntley.
Minnesota. He has. He's played really well. Yeah. Um, he was actually the player of the year in Florida, I think it was.
Really?
Pretty talented kid, yeah. Rams at Minnesota. Minnesota right now is leading. What is it, 10-0? I think it was. But yeah, I think Minnesota. They're competitive. I do think the Rams will get the win there. Buffalo at New England. Buffalo goes back to New England after losing, a couple weeks ago. That's another one
Listen,
where they need to turn it around.
and it's been
Josh
amazing
Allen
too.
has to play good. I really think he's the main culprit on these losses. He just can't seem to get he plays awesome in the beginning of the year against the shit teams like the Jets and all that, but he
Yeah,
just against a good team he seems to falter every time. And
I,
they lost to Urban Meyer and a Jacksonville team 9-6. Like
yeah.
that's on the quarterback.
I also don't think that it helps though that they have he is their entire running game. I think they need to get a running game there, more involved
I don't know.
and
Is that
kind of
by
take
design though?
off. But I'm saying I just think you got to take some pressure off of him and
But they like
establish a running game.
Yeah, but Dable likes to run with the quarterback, and Josh Allen just does those stupid scramble plays instead of he looks at that one read and he doesn't find any, he just craps his pants and
Yeah,
starts
takes
running
off. Yeah,
around.
yeah.
And I just don't know that that's conducive to a winning team. So,
No, I mean I still like him, and I hope it's a get right game for Buffalo and they take this division because I can't stand another Patriots
oh
division
my
win.
god,
So
and I
I'm
don't like
hoping
Josh Allen
for
either. I'd actually root for Miami, but yeah, both these
oh,
teams just frustrating. Jacksonville at Jets. I mean, go
let's
Jacksonville.
hope
I
for
want that number one
Jacksonville
pick.
win.
Yeah, win. New York at Philly, especially minus Daniel Jones. You're going to have the neck, Mike Glennon, or actually, I think Jake Fromm probably deserves the start.
I'd
I
give
thought
him
he
a shot.
played
Yeah,
pretty
he might as well
decently. Yeah, he
see what
came
he's
in
got.
and played pretty well. Tampa at Carolina. I think Tampa, it's a get right game. Chargers at Houston. Chargers, again, get right game. They still have a chance at a playoff spot. Chicago at Seattle. Ooh, come on, Bears.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh at KC. Like I said, I think KC, they don't need, someone like Travis Kelce to beat Pittsburgh right now.
no,
So, I think that they would take that one. Denver at Vegas. Vegas still. Both these teams are
hanging around.
they're crafty. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater with a monster concussion. We wish him the
Mhm.
best. Just Drew Lock take this team and kind of confuse Denver again with, is he their guy of the future?
I think
Yeah, I
Vegas
mean,
takes this
I'm going to
one.
say Denver. Obviously, I'm going to say Denver just because I think Drew Lock
No,
will screw.
no. See, I think it's I think Vegas. You cut out a little bit there, but I think
Yeah.
Vegas. I don't trust Drew Lock personally.
All right. Washington at Dallas. Dallas, looking pretty good. Their defense has been stellar. Their offense, something's wrong with Dak. I still think that they need to get him going and ready. That running game. How is it that Tony Pollard looks better than Zeke Elliott right now? I don't understand that. Maybe there's an injury there too. Especially Tony Pollard is running on like a torn plantar
Torn plastrophaneitis,
fascia.
or
Did you lose again?
yeah, you're good.
Fasciitis.
Yep, yep. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be something that they have to worry about long term. And then the Monday night, Miami at New Orleans, battle of defenses, and that's pretty much it.
This slate of games actually is kind of a clunker.
Yeah, it's
Minus
bad.
the Saturday night games, and then like one or two in the early morning and late, Sunday games. That's about it.
Yep. All right. Well, we're
All
gonna
right,
head out of here, and
do a little,
let's give me
little
some
quick
trivia
trivia.
real fast. Yep.
All right, so this is kind of off the cuff, but um, can you name the? All right, so the I should start this over. The Green Bay Packers, obviously at 11-3. Sorry, first team to clinch the clinch playoffs. Um, can you name the last 11-win team to miss the playoffs?
11-win team to miss the playoffs.
Yes.
Well, I know the Patriots were like a 10-win team and they missed. That's when the Jets and Miami both made the playoffs. No, I don't know this one.
Oh, you are right. It was.
Oh, it was the Patriots?
The Patriots. They were 11-5. And
Oh, it was 11? I thought they were 10-6. All right.
They were 11-5.
Yeah.
The only team since the expansion playoffs started with 12 teams in the 90s to miss the playoffs with that record.
Not bad. Well, good job, Patriots. Way to falter. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. This is Football Primetime.